Hello, everybody. I am here to talk about the last 2 days of Beyond the Gates episodes, July 15th and July 16th episode, as Martin's secret finally came to the forefront. And they've given us bits and pieces of this secret for really the past month. If you've been paying attention, it was the reveal today wasn't anything groundbreaking. There wasn't some big twist involved, and I'm okay with that. I want to circle back to yesterday's episode first because that's when some action went down. That's when Martin first started crashing out, wanting to hold a press conference, was about to go live with all the secrets in public. But luckily Bill stalled at the press conference, and while he was stalling, Vernon saw Kenny outside of the restaurant, and then Vernon saw Marcel outside of the restaurant, and by the end of the episode, Kenny had finally ended up dead. So it seems, at least this time. I complained about this on Monday, and they definitely ended it very quickly after that. I was complaining Monday that if they don't kill Kenny soon, a lot of people in the storyline that are supposed to be villains are going to look very inept. And then the very next day, Kenny seems to be dead thanks to Marcel taking him out. So I'm happy to see that. It makes Bill and Joey actually more villainous in this way, taking out Kenny. Um, I also like that Vanessa was at the press conference to be there with Joey, so that she's basically someone that will be an alibi for Joey, because Joey's at the press conference. Joey can't be involved in Kenny's murder if it ever comes back on him. And earlier in yesterday's episode, I also like that Smitty finally got to confront Kenny after Kenny had been messing with Smitty and Martin's kids. Now, a lot of these story threads did continue into today's episode, which we might as well get right into. Shout out Kaiwan in the chat, though. Kaiwan only saw half of yesterday's episode. And yeah, let's talk about today's episode. So, I mean, the secret, like I said at the beginning of this video, it wasn't that big of a secret to us anymore because they've kind of told us all along. Even from like the very first week, it was pretty clear that Martin killed someone either accidentally or out of self-defense. And in this instant, it turns out that that night after a political event, Martin and Vernon were together, traveling together. They got a flat tire on their car, and they were approached by Kenny and his brother, who of course were being racist and then trying to attack them, trying to get money out of them. So, of course, when Vernon's going to attack, Martin's going to fight back. But Martin went a little too far. I mean, he beat them with a tire iron, and then Kenny's brother, he just kept unloading on Kenny's brother until he was dead. So while it is self-defense, and I've seen some comments out there like, well, they could have just went to the police because it was self-defense. It was, but I do think the show at least made it look like Martin's anger issues that they've always hyped up this entire time is really what got the best of him. And Martin could have stopped without having to kill the guy, but didn't. So I think that's maybe why Vernon took the extra step to try and cover all this up in the first place to protect Martin. I mean, I'm glad that Martin finally told this all to Smitty as well. And Smitty learning Marcel's involvement, because Smitty had been investigating Marcel, and Marcel got this big payment from Bill and Vernon to get rid of the guy or help cover up the crime, and then they paid off the guy to go. I was still left confused by Joey's involvement in the initial part of this thing happening. And it makes me feel as though the way I felt about Vernon and Anita all along is that they are just huge hypocrites. Once again, today, when Bill has let Martin and Vernon know that it's taken care of, that Kenny's dead, Vernon's unloading onto Bill, saying that, well, he thought Bill agreed that they would get Joey and his man to back off and not cross the line into murder. But if Vernon always knew that Joey was involved in all of this in the first place, and clearly a week or two ago when Vernon gathered everyone in Bill's office, he gathered Joey there too. I just think that Bill is 100% correct in saying that Vernon plays dumb, but he knows the lengths that Bill and Joey go to cover up things. So Vernon is not innocent in all of that as well. Anyway, back to Martin and Smitty. I think the best part of today's episode is that I finally got from Smitty what I've been wanting all along, an actual backbone. For the first time ever on this show, once Smitty learned the truth, he didn't back away from Martin. By the end of the episode, he was ready to kick Martin out of the house because at that point, Smitty still thought that Kenny was still alive and he could come back and terrorize their kids again or threaten the kids again. And it was nice to see Smitty, really 2 episodes in a row, stand up to Martin, willing to kick him out of the house. So I have to finally give props to Smitty for that, because I've been asking for that since the beginning. Every single time these two fight, Smitty backs down. Well, today, he finally did not do that. But by the end of the episode, Martin's saying, well, I don't have to leave the house because the man's dead. Kenny's dead. And so I do wonder what Smitty, his investigative journalist self, will do with that information. Will he think that Martin and Vernon were involved? Will he be the one to continue to press this issue? Will he have to go to Jacob, who might be investigating this as well? How will Elon and Marcel stop Jacob from finding out more information on this newest crime to protect Martin? Those things definitely interest me with the fallout of this story. Let's see what Kaiwan is saying in the chat. Kaiwan agrees with me that Vernon does have some kind of relationship with Joey, because why would Vernon call Joey in the first place? He says that Smitty finally took over and gave it to Martin. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Let's circle back to Joey, though. I definitely want to talk about him and Vanessa today, because just last week, Vanessa was able to push Joey into protecting Randy and letting Randy leave town without Joey having him killed. Today, Vanessa pressed the issue to Joey. She was certain that Joey knew what was going on today. And Joey did tell her that his man, Marcel, had to take care of a very bad man or dispose of a very bad man. And Vanessa kept pressing the issue. And Marcel also later arrived. This time, Joey was not backing down to Vanessa trying to push this issue and find out more information. I think Joey went so far as to threaten Vanessa's life if she continued to press this issue. And I've really come to enjoy these two dynamic, because for too long at the start, Vanessa was kind of a caricature that just liked to sleep around, and Joey was very redundant as the casino owner who was just trying to get money out of Doug. But now that we've moved along in the storyline and these two hooking up and working together for Joey's shady business, the Joey and Vanessa dynamic is very intriguing to me. They have become a good part of the show to me. I've always liked the two's chemistry as a potential couple. But now that Vanessa is playing with fire and, that supposedly turns her on, I liked that today she had to finally find out that, yeah, it might turn her on, but it's not all fun and games, that Joey actually can get very serious and deal with people dying, being murdered. And she should have saw that last week with Randy's potential of getting murdered, but today I think maybe was even more real when Joey kind of threatened her. So like the dynamics there as well. Not too much else happened today. That was definitely all about Martin and his secret. Now, Vernon went home and Anita was back. And so Vernon started to tell Anita that Martin's secret came back to haunt them again. So I assume the next episode will be with Anita finding out more of what went down since she's been gone. I don't know what her reaction is going to be. I can't imagine it's going to be a good thing. And then Bill ran into Danny. I've said in the past, I just really like the chemistry between Bill and Danny. I still find it to be the best chemistry on the entire show. I do just wish they would go better places with both characters together. Like, it just gets redundant, the whole one step forward, they have a good conversation, and then they take a bunch of steps back because Bill's obsessed with Haley and trying to protect Haley, and Danny's obsessed with Haley, thinking Haley's not really pregnant yet, and Danny's probably right about that. I guess I would just like a little more from that, though. But that about sums up the past two episodes. I have enjoyed watching Martin's secret come through. Not a big twist today or a big revelation. We all kind of guessed that Martin killed someone, and they've definitely done a good job of showing Martin have a bunch of anger issues for months now. So what happened with all of that? Not very surprising. Let's see if y'all left any comments on Monday's video that I want to talk about. I think it was just Hemi. Hemi 30 is not feeling the Chelsea and Allison storyline. There was zero buildup to the crazy. Maybe I'll find it more interesting if Allison's husband enters the storyline in some kind of way. I do agree that the buildup between Allison and Chelsea would mean more if we actually got to see them together more, but we didn't. I still do like Allison being crazy, even though it's definitely very plot driven so far. Hemi also said that I'm tired of seeing Smitty back down from Martin. Martin must got that good or something. Damn, Smitty, leave his ass. Well, Hemi, when you watch this, maybe you will like today's episode with Smitty finally standing up to Martin and all of that. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Shout out Ray in the chat. Kaiwan is saying, I felt like Vanessa was too much like Lucy on General Hospital. Like they were writing her silly, but now they got her good with the mob thing. Yeah, I agree. They've given her more layers with this whole mob thing. Ray says, finally the secret is out. It's been overkill. It was starting to go a little long the past week, I would say. I was more getting concerned about how Kenny was just going to keep getting away with things, but both things have been taken care of. Kenny seems to actually be dead, and the secret is finally out to us, even though they've kind of pieced it together a lot in the past few weeks. Shout out Tommy in the chat. Kaiwan says, according to a spoiler, might find out what the twins' mother is. Hopefully it's not June, but maybe the twins' mother is June. Maybe it's something else. Tommy says Nicole should divorce Ted after Martin's secret. I mean, yeah. This is just another thing that Ted has kept from Nicole. And Ted's just done a really shitty job of trying to win Nicole back these past several months now. And the last week when I think it was last week when he kind of just fell for Leslie manipulating him again, it's just a lot. Ronnie says they are not twins. That's true. Yeah, Samantha is younger, even though the actress is 30, which is a choice. But yeah, that about sums up today's episode. I have podcasts I gotta go do, so I probably won't be able to be back until Friday. My schedule is getting busy. I'm also going on vacation the next 2 weeks, so I'm still going to be updating Beyond the Gates. It's just going to be a little less often than 4 or 5 days a week, but I'm still going to try and do at least 3. But some of these weeks it might just be 2 days because I will be traveling. But see you all probably Friday.